Hey guys, I hope you're good. There is so much going on my mooring at the moment. Everybody is having to move their boats because we are having dredging done. So I've taken the opportunity to get out and have a cruise. But before I can go anywhere, I need to take down my pram hood. Taking it down is definitely a two-person job, but unfortunately I am only a one-person. Gotta be honest with you, if I were gonna do it again, I would not opt for the pram hood. Next challenge is get my engine started. There is a knack to doing this, but I wasn't actually listening when the mechanic told me, so I have to try and remember. Oh yeah, it's working and we're ready to go. We're just waiting to get out of City Mill Lock. I said in my last video that this is a flood lock, and because of the heavy rainfall that we've had over the last few weeks, it has been closed much of the time. So this is my first real opportunity to get out and have a cruise this year, and it was so needed. I've got a couple of neighbours with me today. We're going to go up to Limehouse, get a few drinks in the pub, and then head back. It was starting to rain just as we were leaving, but we have convinced ourselves that it is just a shower. To be honest, with the way I've been feeling for the last few weeks, I wouldn't care if it was chucking it down. I needed to get out. The last few months at work have been so stressful, and I try really hard not to let it get to me and to try and find a nice balance in my life. But it's difficult sometimes not to allow those things to get into your head and affect your mood. So that's why I'm really pleased that I'm out on the water today, because once you slow your pace down in line with a narrowboat, all of your stresses and everything else inside you slows down as well, and all of that tension, anxiety, it just melts away. Honestly, boating is better than any antidepressant I've ever been on, and I've been on a few. Isn't this boat here on the right hand side absolutely gorgeous? And I'm not saying that just because I know the owner. This bridge that we're going under, I cross that every day to get to the tube station, and my neighbours and I were saying it's remarkable that when you're on the water and you're at that different perspective, everything just looks different. Even things that you pass by every day, it's almost as if you don't recognise where you are, or you're seeing things for the first time. We're just going past the mills now that Three Mills get their name from. That's the name of the area here and the moorings that we live on. And we're on the Limehouse cut. It's a couple of miles just under that until we get to Limehouse. We're just going under the railway bridge now. That's the district line that goes over there. Our mooring is less than 10 minutes walk from the nearest tube station, which is why this area is always popular with continuous cruises. If you remember my video from a couple of weeks ago where I was in Leeds and there were no boats around, even though we were even closer to the train station than where I am now, I still find that really strange. The great thing though about Leeds compared to here is that the water was a lot cleaner. As we've been going along, there have been loads of plastic bags and bits of rubbish floating in the canal, which is really sad to see. And we're just coming past the Bowlocks now. Anytime I come past on foot or on boat, I have to video them just so I can tell you that I'm going past the bow locks. Because I'm just a big child, and I love saying bow locks over and over again. And if there was any doubt to my level of maturity, just take a butcher's at this. Girls gotta keep dry from the rain. There's another railway bridge that we're coming up to. That's for the Docklands Light Railway, or the DLR. There's the train just going over now. The DLR opened in the same year that I was born. There we go, that's my train spotter fact of the video. How cool is this boat coming up? I just love seeing all the different types of boats that are on the canal and the way that people express their creativity by what they do with them. I never wanted a narrowboat originally. I was always dead set against it. I thought that it would be too small, but I am so glad that I was wrong. I sometimes do wonder about getting another kind of boat in the future, or additionally, or just to try out. What about you guys? What kind of boat would you like to get if you haven't got one, or even if you have got one? Are you die-hard narrowboat, or do you like something a bit different? There's some new moorings up here on the right hand side. I think they're long-term leisure moorings, correct me if I'm wrong. But obviously with people with a lot more money than what we have over at 3 Mills. Now whenever I look at a wide beam, I just think that they're far too big for me personally. And are they difficult to drive? It's a while since I've driven my boat, so I am feeling a bit rusty. And the last few times I've gone out, I was on my neighbour's boat. You know, the one with a huge truck engine. So it feels really, really strange being on my boat now. As we were going along, I just kept going, it's so slow. I really wasn't used to it. My boat's a lot shorter than the one that I've got used to driving, so it does give you a bit more breathing room when it comes to doing certain manoeuvres. I wouldn't say that driving a shorter boat is easier, it's just different. My shorter length, reduced speed and greater control was about to come in very handy actually. You see these paddleboarders coming up here on the left hand side in the shot. There were quite a few of them out today, and some of them seem to be quite novice. We're just about to come up to a blind corner, and luckily one of the group told us that there were more people following them. So as we reached the corner, I stayed over more to the right than I usually would have done, sounded my horn quite a few times, and had slowed way down, which was just as well. As we were going into the bend, paddleboarder was coming directly at us, and she was on the wrong side of the canal. If you are going to be doing any water sport on the canal, it's really important to keep yourself safe, know which side you're supposed to be on, and don't leave novices behind on their own. This is what happened.
You're gonna hit him. You're gonna kill him. Quick, don't kill him.
On the right, on the right, on the right.
Sorry.
Thank you. Drive on the right on the canals. Thank you.
Is there another one? Someone else?
Are you the last one?
Yeah, I'm the last one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers.
I hope I wasn't too harsh with her, but it was a lot easier for her to move than for me, and really I was just concerned with her safety. So we made it to Limehouse all in one piece, and we're going to grab a drink now at a riverside pub. Look how choppy the Thames is today. it still hasn't put me off wanting to go out there on a narrowboat. Not my narrowboat, but a narrowboat. A couple of juices later and the tide was starting to go out, but it was still choppy as anything. And here's something really sad. This unfortunate boat was involved in a fire last week. Thankfully nobody was injured, but it's just terrible. We're heading back home now. We're going to try and do it as quickly but safely as possible because it is starting to rain a bit heavier. And a couple of drinks and the rain means that everybody needs to have a go on Gary. If you don't know who Gary is, then you really should be subscribed to my channel. Go and watch some of my old videos. I'll put a link up at the top there. You'll know what I'm talking about. There's not too much to see on this route because it's such a built-up area. I'm hoping that I can get up into the countryside sometime soon. But even still being stuck in the city, it was lovely to be on the water. People were waving at us and chatting as we were going by. And having my neighbours with me was just great. We were having a good old natter. They are so funny. We didn't stop laughing the whole time. I am really, really lucky to live with the people that I do. In a house, I never really spoke to my neighbours, but it really is a community that we're part of in our moorings, and I'm really, really grateful for that, and you feel it a lot more now that the weather's getting better. We're going out and doing things, going to the pub, arranging barbecues, things like that. And just seeing more of each other because we're not hiding away inside our boats trying to keep warm now. Here's that same boat again that I was admiring on the way up, and you can see there just how filthy the canal is around here. I really don't know why people are paddleboarding in here. Oh, could you imagine if you fell off? You'd probably need to go to hospital. Did you know that paddleboarding is actually the fastest growing sport in the UK? I'm not convinced still that I would like to try it. Secretly, I'm a bit of a wuss. And this little boat is so cute. Check out the setup on the back deck as we go past. Another fun fact for you, a collective noun for coots is a covert. I love lifeboats. They're so cool. I want one. I want lots of boats, really. And another lovely boat here. This one's called the Heron. It must be their favourite bird. What's your favourite bird? Mine are flamingos. I was absolutely obsessed with them for ages. Actually, I have a plan which I've roped my neighbour into. You know, you get pedalos in the shape of swans. Well, we're going to acquire one, and then we're going to respray it pink so it becomes a flamingo and no one will know that we've stolen it. Flawless, right? See this tug here on the right hand side? I want to give a massive shout out to the guy that runs it because he helped us so much yesterday with moving the boats around the moorings in preparation for the dredging. You will see just what a fantastic job he did in my next video, or maybe the one after. it depends when the dredging actually gets done. It's only scheduled to last a few days, but this is canal time, so we know it's going to overrun. Oh, and there are the bow locks again on the right hand side. Before City Mill Lock was built, you had to go through bow locks to leave our moorings and join the rest of the canal system. It's nice doing a loop when you're on a journey because then you get to see more things, but I also really like doing it the way that we're doing it now, of going straight up somewhere, turning around and coming back, because there are lots of boats and different things that you've seen on the way there, and you get to see a different perspective on the way back, or check out things that you've missed, like a boat name or an interesting piece of artwork or something like that. We're just coming back under the District Line bridge now. It's getting really windy, which might not show very well in the video, but if you look at the ripples in the water, that will give you some indication. You really don't need that much wind at all to feel a big difference when you're handling your boat. So I think we're getting back home at just the right time. If we had tried to go out earlier in the week, we wouldn't have been able to because the lock wouldn't have allowed us out. But if by some freak accident it had done, the river level here would have been really high, and you can see from the restricted room on this bridge why that would be very dangerous. I hate coming under here. And we're out. You can see on the left hand side there's some new flats that are going up, and these ones that are finished. You can see on my face it might look like I'm being a bit miserable, but that is pure concentration, I assure you. And to give you an idea of what it's like handling the boat in the wind, just look at how white my knuckles have gone by having to grip onto the tiller a lot harder than usual. So we're back in City Mill Lock now, waiting to get back onto our moorings. And there's some new flats going up here on the left hand side. And these ones here on the right hand side. So we're back on 3 Mills Wall River, which is the semi-tidal river that our moorings are situated on. And you can see there on your right hand side, there are some new flats being built. I promise you it is really windy now. I love these two swans. They come knocking for food every day, even though I rarely feed them. I made an exception today. When we get back to the moorings, I'm not going into my normal berth. Because of the dredging, everybody has had to move, but it's okay. We've got a really good plan and I know exactly where I'm going. But when I get there, someone has stolen my space. But it's totally cool. I'm not bitter about these things at all, and I'm just gonna squeeze in here instead. Unfortunately, we realised too late that there were no power sockets left, so we had to move my boat again. And we just pulled it back across the river, and hopefully I should be fine here. I have had a great day's cruising and a fantastic weekend overall with my brilliant neighbours and shuffling boats around. It has definitely shifted my bad mood. I do hope you enjoyed my first cruise of the season. If you did, give the video a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you all again very soon.